Hi everybody, once again it's Miles Crosby. Welcome to another edition of PRTC's Business Spotlight. And first off, I got to welcome the Executive Director of Operation Patriots FOB, Jimmy. A pleasure.
It's great to meet you, sir.
It really is good to meet you, my friend. Jimmy is Jimmy Banton, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jimmy is a former Marine pilot. You actually used to fly what we call the jump jets with the Harriers.
Yes, sir.
Which my hat's off to you, man. I've watched those guys, and it is like amazing what you did back in the day.
Appreciate it.
And now here's the reason we're here today. It's about the military. It's about veterans. It's about veterans' families, and coming together after you get back. When you're transitioning back home. So Operation Patriots FOB. Jimmy, tell me a little bit more about it.
Yes, sir. So Operation Patriots FOB, if anybody's asking, FOB, F-O-B, Forward Operating Base. So just like in Vietnam, they had fire bases or anything like that for those little small camps. That's the same thing that we just called it over in Iraq and Afghanistan or wherever we were serving from there. So who we are and what we do, we're a veteran and first responder nonprofit here in the Low Country. We serve veterans, actively serving military, but we also serve first responders as well.
So firemen,
police, past, present, doesn't matter.
And you also welcome families.
And big on families and Gold Star family members as well. So our whole mission is preventing first responder and veteran suicide. And the way we do that is through outdoor recreation and peer-to-peer engagement.
You know, when you talk about veterans and suicide, I mean, when you really study the situation, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts and watched interviews with veterans, and they describe what it's like to be in country, and then all of a sudden you're back in what you call, quote unquote, the normal world. And it's a major transition. And they need, you know, some people to kind of get together in camaraderie and help them work their way back into the family life and everything that comes with it. So, you know, the first thing when I drove up to your location here in Ridgeland was like, how cool is this? I mean, this is awesome, and this is what we need for our people that have, you know, really, we talk about being the land of the free. Well, we wouldn't be if it wasn't for people like you.
Right.
Once again, it's called Operation Patriots FOB. And now, is this your main location, the one you guys have?
This is our main location here in Ridgeland. So we've got on property, we've got 268 acres out here. We've got 3 temporary lodging facilities, so we do retreats out here. We've got a rifle and pistol range. We've got a
which I can actually hear some people doing.
You can hear it in the backyard right now.
Yes.
So we've got rifle pistol ranges. We've got a 15-station sporting clays course. We've got a 5-stand for shooting clays as well, 5 fishing ponds, a dove field, 4.5 miles of trail. So there's so much stuff that we can do out here. But the biggest part about that is everything that we see out here today, 100% free for all of our members, veterans, first responders, active serving.
I was just getting ready to say, all the activities you're talking about, you know, that takes money. And obviously what we need is to get people out there, because they, you know, if you want to actually thank your first responders, you want to thank the military, you want to thank their families, because the families are a huge part of it as well. You know, and to have a place like this, if somebody wants to, and I know there's a lot of people out there watching that want to help, you know, donate, how do they go about doing that, Jimmy?
So there's a couple ways to do it. So one, just simply go to our website, OPFOB.org.
Okay, now we're going to put that up on the screen.
Okay.
OPFOB.org.
Yes, sir. So go to our website, OPFOB.org. There's multiple ways to give there. So there's a little tab for donations. So sometimes people will just want to do a one lump sum donation for just for operating expenses or just anything that we're doing out here. There's another way on the website. It's called the Save 22 Club. So the Save 22 Club we came up with 22 being the daily national suicide rate.
The national suicide rate is 22
veterans a day.
A day.
Yes, sir.
That's heartbreaking.
There's another study that will say it went down lower to 17, and that's what the VA is putting out. But then there was an independent study with University of Alabama, Duke University, and another veteran nonprofit. They did 8 sample states, went through all the data, and their conclusion is it's probably closer to 44 a day.
That's heartbreaking. And the truth is, a lot of that when they get back, they've had that camaraderie, being in the military or being a firefighter or whatever the case might be, and maybe they get injured or maybe they retire or whatever. Once again, when they make their way back, if you don't have other people to lean on that understands what's going on, it can be a lonely existence, and so that's what this is so important. What you guys are doing.
I mean, the other ways to give, just to touch on that real quick, we do a bunch of different events. So we've got, this past April, we did our 4th annual concert for the heroes. And so we had 3,100 folks out on our front lawn. We had Clay Walker, Chris Cagle, and Chris Jones all out on stage. It was fantastic, but that's a really big fundraiser. So we're always looking for sponsors for these events. We've got on August 23rd, we've got our first golf tournament down on Hilton Head Island at Port Royal Golf and Racquet Club.
Right.
So looking for sponsors for that, and also participants to come out and play and support our cause that way. September 13th of this year, we've got our 3rd annual First Responder Day, Appreciation Day.
Right.
So we're expecting 400 or 500 folks coming out, and it's just a day of celebration to support our first responders, because they go through just as much, if not more, than some of our veterans do, and then they've got to come home the very same night and deal with it, and then go right back again. So super big on supporting our first responders as well. And then finally, November 8th, we're going to do our next dinner for the heroes. And so it's a black tie optional dinner down on Hilton Head. It's at the Hilton Resort, actually. And so we've got Hall of Famer Rocky Bleier from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's going to be one of our guest speakers. We're going to have Admiral Stufflebeam. He's going to be another. He's a big supporter of the FOB. He's going to be another one of our speakers. And we'll have a veteran testimonial as well to talk about their experiences at the FOB. But that's another one of our big fundraisers that we have going on. It's going to be a great event. We're expecting 600 people to be in attendance.
Awesome. Well, let's hope we get that, and then much more for all these, basically fundraisers, because it's 100% free out here.
Everything that we do, we will never ask any of our members or any of our veterans, first responders, active duty families. We're never going to ask them for a dime for anything.
That's amazing.
So that's why the big thing is when we have these big events, we're looking for sponsorships on there. All of our information on the dinner, the first responder day that's coming up, and when the concert comes back up, all that is going to be on our website under the events, and it'll show ways that you can donate. It'll show ways you can sponsor. And again, if anybody needs more information on that, they can just contact us at info at opfob.org, and we'll get right back to you.
I was looking at one of your flyers, and you got a QR code, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to take that QR code. Jason is master at doing all this stuff. He's the guy behind the camera. He's the real talent. I'm just here doing the easy part. But anyway, so we'll put the QR code up on the screen, and so if you're familiar with the QR code, you can take your camera, zoom in on it, and it'll bring up the website and all the information you need. Now, once again, I want to get a little bit more into the Save 22 Club. We were talking about, on average, 22 veterans a day commit suicide. And, of course, we're going to try and, with this sort of operation, Operation Patriots FOB, a place to try and help get them with other veterans, other compatriots, and have some things to do to just, start living again.
So with the Save 22 Club, what we're asking for is anybody who wants to support our mission, is all we ask them to do is go to the website. They can click on the QR code. It'll take them right to it. But we're just asked for the support of $22 a month. So it ends up being 72 cents a day.
Right.
Cheaper than a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And so, but what that does for that Save 22 campaign, again, it helps us keep everything 100% free for all our members with all the things that we do out here.
What a great idea. And once again, that's cash that can be continuing to come in to help with all the things you're doing, and of course all the other fundraisers you've got coming up. All that is available on the website as far as when it's going to be, what's coming up. It sounds like you guys got a lot going on. Like I said, I'm going to tour the property a little bit more once we get off camera, but I hear this, I hear some of this shooting going on in the background. I love to shoot. I like shooting sporting clays, 5-stand, rifles, all that sort of thing. So what a great place for them to have that recreation, and have dove fields and fishing ponds, especially if you got family with the kids. I mean, just a really unique place. Now, if somebody is a donor and wants to tour the place, is that doable?
It is. It 100% is. So we like to take care of our donors and our sponsors just as much as they take care of us. So the best time to come out to come tour the property is on a Saturday morning.
Saturday
morning.
mornings.
So because really what you do is you get to see the place in action. So every Saturday morning we have at 9 a.m. we have what we call coffee and camaraderie. And so we saw in the barn here, we've got, we're averaging about over 100 people every Saturday coming out to see the place.
That's amazing.
And every weekend there's somebody new. So the word's getting out, more new people, and then those new faces become familiar faces.
Right.
And that's what we're doing. We're building the tribe and the sense of community that we all once had when we were serving.
Right.
So when you come into the barn, you're going to see a spread of food. You have volunteers cooking breakfast sandwiches. We've got some very, very good supporters with local bakeries and things, so donuts and croissants, everything like that, out on the spread, and a little bit of coffee. And you just come in, you enjoy the place, you sit down, and you just talk. And you're catching up with people, supporting people. It's a wonderful thing. We'll go and do announcements, and then if you've never been here before, we get you on a side-by-side and we take you around on the tour, show you the property. Once the tours are all done, we open up the 5-stand and we open up the rifle pistol range for folks to go down there and shoot.
That's amazing.
And you just keep it simple. And, it's just people want to talk. And you would be amazed when you see some of these people come through, and some of them, I mean, they're thriving, right? But everybody has their challenges, whether and it doesn't always have to be suicide. We spoke earlier, transitioning out of the service.
Exactly.
I did 24 years in the Marine Corps, and you always had that mission. You always had a purpose.
Right.
And then it kind of goes away. And I tell people, it's like, it's a roller coaster ride, because it gets all exciting because you made that decision that you're going to retire or get out.
Right.
And then you start thinking, oh man, retirement party is all the guys are going to come back. It's going to be great.
Right.
But then when the smoke clears, you're kind of like, what do I do?
Where do I go?
Because you're so used to, you've got a mission, whether it's your next qualification, your next deployment, your next whatever.
Yeah.
And then it kind of goes away.
And the camaraderie. I mean, the truth is, you guys become almost like family when you're overseas.
Yes.
And so you've got that camaraderie. I was just thinking, sitting here thinking, do you find it that maybe some of the guys that you served with, or some of the other guys you served with, maybe kind of have a chance to get together some here as well?
We do, and we have, so one of the things we do are retreats. So we've got 3 temporary lodging facilities on the property, and all we do is ask you to sign up as a member. So you got to qualify as being a first responder, a service member of some sort, or something like that. But families will come out here and enjoy just the nice peace and quiet. Other times we do what's called a warrior retreat, and in that warrior retreat, it's a reunion. It's guys that come back. Just a brief example. My neighbor, he was South Carolina Army National Guard, and his team, they went to Afghanistan, and those guys are super, super tight.
Right.
Well, they used to always find a place somewhere in South Carolina to go and have a retreat somewhere, but they did it once a year.
Right.
So I invited them up, and a couple of guys did a little tour of the place, and they're like, let's do it here this year.
Oh, cool.
They came there this year. I think they're on their 5th or 6th one here, and they do it quarterly now. They're like, no more of this annual stuff. It's all quarterly.
I love that.
But that's just some of the small impact, and they're actually significant impacts
Sure it is.
of what you have, with the property.
Well, the reason I brought that up, I was thinking, obviously you got the Marine Air Corps Station at Beaufort, you've got Charleston Air Force Base, we used to have the Navy there, you got Shaw, you got all the different, military bases in South Carolina, and as people retire from the military, a lot of them come back to this area, and so there's a lot of military people in the area, and that's what made me think about, maybe some of those
Well, I'm glad you
get
said
back
that
together.
too, because we call it a target-rich environment.
Exactly.
So if you take a 90-minute driving radius around OPFOB,
Right.
you're touching over 120,000 veterans, over 30,000 active duty, over 30,000 first responders, and we haven't even touched on the families of that.
Exactly.
So there is a huge population here that we're trying to attract to come here and let them know we are here for them.
And Jimmy, there's a huge need for exactly what you guys are doing.
it is.
We're going to take a quick break. Once again, we're talking to Jimmy Banton. He is the executive director of Operation Patriots FOB, and it's amazing what they are doing here in Ridgeland. And we're going to talk more in just a few moments. Once again, you're watching PRTC's Business Spotlight. I'm Miles Crosby. We'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back once again, PRTC's Business Spotlight, and we're talking to Jimmy Banton. He is the Executive Director of Operation Patriots FOB, and truly doing God's work, in my opinion. I tell you what, Jimmy, first off, I got to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking around, seeing all the good you're doing for veterans, first responders, their families, and everything else. There had to be somewhere that this started. Where was the seed that got Operation Patriots FOB started? What happened?
So the way it truly started was with our CEO and founder, J.R. Brown. Mm-hmm. So J.R. Brown, also a Marine, he was a dog handler in the Marine Corps, and went over to Iraq a couple of times. Then he did some contracting work with Blackwater, went overseas again. Then he got injured, so he was medically retired from Blackwater. Now, I started getting involved in January 23, so some of the dates and time frame might get mixed up a little bit.
I understand.
But so he's now living in New York City.
Okay.
And he's in a 600 square foot apartment with his wife, Stephanie. She was working up there. He was going to school, doing some things, but really self-isolating in there because, again, he's in a large community that doesn't get what he's been through, what he's going through.
In 600 square feet.
In 600 square feet. So then he starts receiving phone calls, and then, survivor guilt type things. This guy got killed, this guy got injured, lost a leg, lost an arm, things of that nature.
Right.
And it's just weighing on him significantly from there. He found out at one point, when you enlist in the Marine Corps recruiting sales, right? So, hey, you got anybody else interested who may be interested?
Right.
Grab your buddy to come in. And unfortunately, his best friend from upstate New York that he grew up with committed suicide after coming back from that. When you look across the board of suicide rates, and just to get off on a side note, we've got to retally our numbers because we've got a few new board members, but at one point in time, we had over 200 suicides that directly affected us on board members and staff.
No, it's people that you guys knew
Knew and served with.
Wow.
So the need was there.
That really hits home.
So while he's in New York, he had those struggles as well, and some significant ones that I won't go into, but it was very, very significant. So they moved back down here to the Low Country, back down in Bluffton. He was stationed here. He loved the area. Stephanie was a SCAD grad, loved the area. And he started getting involved with another nonprofit, Labs for Liberty, out west.
Right.
They train train service dogs for special operators. And every time he'd go out there, he came back refreshed. And Stephanie saw something new with him. It's like more life and more energy and things of
to
that
live
nature.
for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he was around like-minded individuals. They were training service dogs. That was his happy place, working with dogs.
Right.
Out in the woods, campfires, side-by-sides, gun ranges, doing some farm work and things of that nature. So what he ended up doing was, he started OPFOB. And we weren't a 501c3 yet at that time. We kind of fell under Labs for Liberty, but we didn't have a penny to our name. Right. But him and a business partner at that time, it's like, we've got to jump on this. We can't just try and raise money or this property is going to be gone.
Right.
So
they found the property first.
He took his life savings, JR took his life savings and put it into this property, knowing that once OPFOB got on its feet, that OPFOB would buy the property and own it outright, because we don't want an individual owning the property or anything like that.
Of course.
And so happy to say last November we did that.
That's
so
fantastic.
OPFOB owns this property and it's not going anywhere.
So OPFOB's got it?
OPFOB's got it. No single person, no anything. And it was a huge milestone in our growth and being able to provide more services to our veterans and our first responders.
But everything you were talking about, I mean, getting around like-minded individuals, being able to get out and just ride around on side-by-side, four-wheeler, side-by-side, being able to get out in the country, smell the fresh air. Maybe it's a cold day and you get to sit by a fire. I mean, today's not the cold day.
No, we're definitely not lighting
We're
a
not
fire
lighting
today.
a fire today. But once again, through the seasons, you've got things to do. 5-stand shooting, you got sporting clays, you got, where you want a pistol range and rifle range and fishing and so much more. And it gives those people who have given so much to the country, and once again, obviously we're talking about veterans, but also first responders and their families. It gives them a place where they can unwind and be around like-minded individuals.
And we not only just stay on property, right? So we've got we've got all the stuff that you mentioned before.
Right.
But we golf, we fish, and there's some great fishing in these fishing ponds. But go to get charter captains, go out and take folks fishing that way as well.
Nice.
And really, like the shooting, the hunting, the fishing, the hiking, all those things, the activities that we have out there for that. All it is a mechanism to break the ice.
Exactly.
It's a mechanism for folks to break the ice, get to know one another, and all of a sudden build that bond. And I'll give you an example. We do, I just call them OPFOB retreats, where we say, and I'll use the example, last January at the tail end of dove season, we put out a thing, it's like, and we'll put out messages and emails and say, click this link and register for the dove hunt.
Right.
We had 10 slots available.
Right.
And so we just do a random selection.
Right.
And so we did the random selection, and it couldn't have gone any more perfect. They show up on a Friday evening. We feed them. We treat them like royalty.
Right.
We take them out dove hunting the next day. The best part was all 10 folks, they didn't know each other at all. Not even, you look familiar, I've seen you at coffee hour. They had no clue who each other was.
Right.
In less than 24 hours, they've traded contact information, they're hugging, high-fiving, can't wait to see you again, brother, and they just built that camaraderie. And it wasn't, and they just had a great time. And I'll tell you what made it even better was the dove hunting that day was terrible. It was cold, it was wet, the birds weren't flying that great. And so we told them after, we brought them back to lunch, and we were like, hey guys, you want to go hunt more in the thing, or do you want to go shoot sporting clays? And majority of them was like, let's do sporting clays.
Yeah, you're going to have a target to shoot
Yeah,
at.
you're going to have something to shoot at there.
It's funny you brought that up. I was going to mention this anyway. I love to hunt as much as any hunter does. I love to shoot doves, duck, deer, turkey, the whole 9 yards, and done some African hunting. Point being is especially when it comes to dove hunting, duck hunting, it's not just about the hunting, it's the camaraderie.
It's the camaraderie.
It's the camaraderie. Whether you shoot a dove or not, that's a bonus if you happen to, to have, because I like to cook them as well. But it's getting around and talking to people. And that's the best part.
Yeah, and the thing is, we touched on a little bit earlier with the, what kind of sets us apart from all the other ones there. We're not a one and done. We're not an organization that goes and says, okay, well, we've got this hunting trip.
Right.
All right, go see you.
Yeah.
All right, how was it? Okay, great. Go away. Somebody else come in and you're making the donuts type thing.
I'm glad you brought that up. Is this open? 365 days a year? Or
So
when do you close?
So we're closed on Sundays.
Okay.
And during the weekdays, just because we have a very, very small staff.
Right, of course.
We have a super small staff. And with 268 acres, there's a lot to get done here. So
Exactly.
we are by appointment only on the weekdays.
Got it.
And so what we have is we've got a bunch of different activities here. So I'll just go through on Wednesdays here in the barn, we have an AA meeting. So if people want to come out and go through that program, we open the gates, they just come and show up for there. We have a Bible study that we do on Thursday mornings in Bluffton, and then also we'll do it on Saturdays after coffee hour. People will come sit right here and have a Bible study from there if they want to. On Fridays, like today, where you hear all the gunfire, we have open range day on Fridays for the range and for the sporting clays. All we ask, though, is since it is a weekday and we've got to get the requisite amount of range safety officers to keep everything safe and running.
Of course.
You need to be a member and you need to sign up on the link so we know who's coming.
Right.
Now, Saturdays for the coffee and camaraderie, there's no sign up, just come on out.
Come on out. Which makes perfect sense because, once again, like you said, to keep a well-oiled machine running, you have to have certain, perimeters.
Correct.
And that makes perfect sense. And once again, you can sign up and do that. But
Yes, sir.
That's pretty amazing. And one of the things we talked about how it all started, but how many people have actually come through those gates? How many people have visited?
So, started in 2020.
Right.
Since then, we've had over 37,000 visits.
Wow.
And so with the I say visits, vice people, because sometimes that's you 3 times, me 5 times coming through, signing in.
But that's how many people have actually
that have physically been out here.
visited.
And the biggest metric that we can say is that out of those 37,000 people, we've had 0 suicides from anyone who's come through those gates.
That's amazing. So out of all those 37,000 visits, 0 suicides.
Correct.
That's what it's all about, buddy.
It really is.
That's what it's all about.
And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create that community and that support network, so when times get tough, you've got somebody to lean on.
Right.
And I've told people all the time when they come here, it's like, hey, OPFOB is just like the service, whatever one you served in. You've got that support network. So hey, don't wait on OPFOB to have a barbecue.
Right.
It's like, I hope that everybody is going out to dinner somewhere. OPFOB friends are going and having barbecues.
Exactly.
They're going out on their boats. They're enjoying the beach.
These are people who have become friends because of OPFOB.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, maybe some of those guys that, like you were talking about, sometimes your best buddy also serves with you, and maybe they both retired in this area. And what a great, location to come in and join back up.
It's fantastic. And we talked a lot about the property and what the amenities we have and things that we do. But I will tell you this, and I tell everybody this: OPFOB is not the property. OPFOB is the people.
Exactly.
This could go away tomorrow. OPFOB is still going to be there. We'll find someplace else to do it. The best part is we don't have to worry about that because we own the place. We're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
However, it's all about that sense of community and that camaraderie.
And that's a great feeling, man. That is a great feeling. So, and I get right back to just what you're saying. The hunting is wonderful, but it's the camaraderie that makes it fantastic.
That's right.
And it really is. That's what you remember. I've been on many, many hunts, and sometimes your best memories are the getting together with your buddies.
It really is. And I've experienced this before multiple times with all these outings. You go out and play golf somewhere, and the guys don't know each other, and all of a sudden, you about the 3rd or 4th hole, you've kind of introduced yourself and everything.
Right.
But it just takes that one person to say a wisecrack. Is like somebody putts it short and like, you may hold your purse next time, and then it's like, and what it does is it triggers people's minds of like, oh, this is the same joking and the same camaraderie we had before, and
exactly.
then and then really what happens is you'll have that, and then we'll come back to the campfire for the camp. We just call it campfire therapy. You light a fire and you just talk, and what it ends up happening is you've had such a fantastic day, and you've built that trust now with the folks that you're around, and then it just takes a little bit of vulnerability, and it'll normally turn into a funny deployment or work story.
Right.
And then it'll come to a kind of a tragic one, and then it says, man, I just can't sleep, or something that simple. And once that one person says it, the next person across the thing is like, yeah, I can't sleep either.
Exactly.
And then they feel, guess what? You're not alone.
You're not the only person.
You're not the only
just
person.
you.
And that's some of the programs that we're going to start doing. Not sure if you've heard of this. It's post-traumatic growth. And what we're trying to do is just add more meat on the bones for this. And what the post-traumatic growth piece is, there's, you got to get your mind right. You got to get your physical fitness right. You got to get your spiritual fitness right. Whatever you want to believe.
Sure.
And then you got to get your financial pieces under. And if you get those pillars taken care of, then you've won half the battle right there.
Exactly.
And so what we're doing is just giving folks tools to help deal with their lives. But the best part about our program that we're going to do is that you don't go across the country to some place to get those resources and then they come back to the environment. You're staying at home. You come, this is home.
Exactly.
So you come do the program here, and then guess what? On Saturday, you're coming
Be
back
right
for
back.
coffee hour.
Exactly. And seeing your buddies.
And that's
and
what it
inviting
is.
your buddies.
And we're still going to do the fun activities. We're still going to do all this stuff.
Sure.
We're just adding that meat on the bone to say, hey, here's a tool. I mean, it's as simple as journaling. It's simple as doing some meditation. Gratitude. And our buddy who's running it, I love his line. Say, you can't have an attitude if you got gratitude. So
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that.
So
Can't have an attitude if you got gratitude. I like that.
So,
like that
I mean,
a lot.
it's just one of those things, just, we know that our veterans and first responders need more than some coffee and a gun range,
Exactly.
and we build that camaraderie, but now we're just taking it a step higher, and it just really, really be impactful to our community.
Jimmy, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk to us.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Miles.
We're getting ready to wrap up. Is there anything else? I could talk to you all day. As a matter of fact, what a lot of people don't realize, we've already been talking. We've been talking long before we got on camera because, former pilot, not like you, but former pilot, used to fly skydivers and stuff. But once again, this guy flew a Harrier jump jet. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I appreciate your service. Thank you for everything you're doing. But thank you for carrying on your service to humanity and what you're doing right now. Is there anything else we need to mention before we wrap up?
Yeah, the only thing I would mention is, for any of the veterans, first responders, past, present, family members of it, Gold Star families, anybody like that who's never heard of us before, and hopefully this message is reaching to them, come out.
Yeah.
Just go to our website, OPFOB.org. Sign up as a member. It's 100% free. But that's how we get the message to you.
Right.
We'll send weekly updates through email. So if you don't get the email after you sign up, check your spam box because it probably went into spam.
Right.
But that's the best way you'll hear all the weekly happenings that we're doing. All the events that we are doing are right there. So, and then tell them to spread the word. If people who know veterans and no first responders and things like that.
Tell them about it.
Tell them about it. Come out with them. Check the place out.
Invite your buddies.
That's right.
I mean, invite your buddies. The ones that were in the military with you, bring them out.
Yep.
And the families.
And if anybody who wants to, come be a supporter or sponsor or anything like that, info@OPFOB.org.
Right.
Or go to the website. Click one of the buttons,
we'll
and
throw
you got
that QR code back on the screen too, so you can also do it right there
with Save 22.
Once again, Jimmy, thank you for. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Doing God's work.
I appreciate
this is absolutely wonderful what you've got out here. What you guys have out here. Obviously, it's a collective, but what y'all have done is absolutely amazing.
Well, we thank you to PRTC for allowing us to have the time to share our story. We've got a great partnership with them, with PRTC, Palmetto Link, Palmetto Electric. So thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do as well.
Thank you for saying that, Jimmy. I totally agree with you. Everything you just said. They've been good to me too.
Yes, sir.
Once again, you've been watching PRTC's Business Spotlight. It has been my pleasure to be talking to the Executive Director of Operation Patriots FOB, and just amazing what they're doing out here. And if you know a veteran and he doesn't know about this place and you're watching this, tell them about it. Believe me, it is worth every moment. And if you've got it in your heart to give, don't forget to go to that. Once again, you'll see the QR code up on the screen, and just donate to a really great cause. A really great cause. First responders, veterans, and so much more, and their families. Once again, for PRTC's Business Spotlight, for Jimmy Banton, I'm Miles Crosby. Thank you for watching.